Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, the man who robbed a Victoria bank last year is facing sentence. A Houston attorney receives his sentence after pleading guilty in an attempted abortion plot. And Governor Greg Abbott was in Victoria today, showing his support for District 30 Republican candidate Jeff Bouknight.
Good evening, everybody. We got quite a bit of cloud cover, and yet we've got warm temperatures. We'll be into the 70s for the next couple of days, but you can see how the moisture is beginning to work its way into Texas. That'll be our weekend rain. We'll have all that coming up in a moment.
And a Goliad tiger has found a new home. I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia has the night off. An Amber Alert tonight out of Houston. The victim is 1-year-old Noah Johnson. He was last seen wearing a blue shirt and flower print pants. He needs immediate medical attention. The suspect is 38-year-old Camila Johnson. The suspect is driving a white 2007 GMC Yukon, license plate number STM 7097. Call 911 with information. A Victoria mother says her daughter faced bullying in the Victoria ISD, so much so she transferred from one school to another. Now she has withdrawn from school altogether. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick spoke with her about the district's response. Adarius?
Jessica Baldera's daughter started at Cade Middle School, then transferred to STEM Middle School. Now she's trying homeschooling. The bullying was too much for the family to handle.
My daughter's been harassed already, been assaulted in a way that she shouldn't be assaulted. And y'all cannot keep my daughter safe. And then
Baldera's daughter started the 6th grade at Cade Middle School a couple years ago. Baldera says the bullying began with a group of girls poking fun at her daughter. One of the girls wrote on social media, "Rest in peace," as a threat to her. Then the threats became violent. After her daughter was attacked, Baldera moved her to STEM Middle School. There, she says 8 girls attacked her and a male classmate started to harass her. At this point, Baldera contacted the school district.
They moved her classrooms and stuff. It still was not doing anything. So this year, the same individual is posting pictures, posting a video. There's a video going around now of my daughter's dress.
Cyberbullying is another issue she mentioned to the district. One TikTok account called Little Miss Vipers posted a video with almost 900 views of her daughter. The video mentions several vulgar names.
I reported it, and
another social media post accused her of having lice.
They said there's nothing they can do about it because once it gets out of somebody's hand, they can't figure out where the main source is.
The VISD had this to say: "We prioritize the safety and well-being of our students above all else."
That's false. Ask me where the kid is. Did they do anything to the kid? No, they suspended my daughter.
The VISD suspended Baldera's daughter because she missed too many days of school. Baldera did not want to send her daughter where she didn't feel safe.
I don't even know what they're doing in school. I'm not that smart to teach her. So, I mean, she's missing out because of this.
The VISD invites parents and students to complete a bullying form online. We have that on crossroadstoday.com. Adarius McCormick, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
Adarius, thank you. The man convicted of robbing a Victoria bank last year will be sentenced to federal prison later this month. Derek Taylor was convicted on 2 counts of bank robbery. Taylor was found guilty of robbing Prosperity Bank at 7001 Northeast Zach Lentz Parkway on February 2nd, 2023. Taylor's sentencing will be before Judge Nelva Gonzalez Ramos February 26th at the Martin Luther King Jr. Federal Building in Victoria. A 19-year-old suspect was taken into custody by Victoria County Sheriff's deputies. Devin Morales is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $40,000 bond. Wednesday night, Wharton police arrested Waynard Austin on 7 felony warrants. Shortly after, Austin escaped from custody in handcuffs. Austin remains at large, last seen wearing a black hoodie, blue jeans, and white shoes. If you see him, contact 911. Wharton police say Austin is not a threat to public safety. A Houston attorney will spend 180 days in jail after pleading guilty to injury to a child and assault of a pregnant person. Those charges were downgraded as part of a plea deal. Prosecutors say Mason Herring secretly drugged his wife's drinks multiple times while she was pregnant to induce an abortion. Along with jail time, the 39-year-old will have 10 years of probation. He's also expected to lose his law license. Herring's soon-to-be ex-wife says the sentence is not enough.
I do not believe that 180 days is justice for attempting to kill your child 7 separate times.
Herring was the first person in Harris County to be charged with felony assault to induce abortion. The charge was withdrawn as part of the plea deal. The National Weather Service has these river flood warnings posted for the crossroads. A river flood warning for Victoria and Calhoun counties is in effect until Friday afternoon for the Guadalupe River near Bloomington. At 6 o'clock tonight, the river was at 21.2 feet. Flood stage is 20 feet. Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. Mac, one river flood warning is just about to end. What are the chances we may have some more after this coming weekend?
Well, I don't see a significant amount of rain, over an inch like that, which is what we had last week. We had 3 or 4 inches, and up Hallettsville got 10, but they will be on the damp side. As a matter of fact, our frontal system has already stalled. As a result, it's going to be warm and windy with a little rain until this one arrives here, and then is when we get the rainfall, and that'll be over the weekend. We'll have more on that coming up in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. Governor Greg Abbott was in Victoria today to support Jeff Bouknight for the District 30 House seat. Around 150 people showed up today to attend the event, all rallying to support Jeff Bouknight.
I know in my heart will work with me, support me, fund me, and have my back when it comes to doing what you want to have done, and that is Jeff Bouknight will fight for you to secure our border.
Jeff Bouknight picked up the endorsement of Governor Greg Abbott, fueling Bouknight's campaign for the District 30 House seat. The event took place Thursday at the Victoria College Emerging Technology Complex. Governor Abbott says he supports the former mayor of Victoria and believes he will fight alongside him in Austin on 3 main issues: securing the border, cutting property taxes, and supporting school choice.
Let me tell you what Jeff and I are going to do. Jeff and I are going to go work together in Austin, Texas for you, and we are going to build a conservative bulwark where we protect your freedoms and the opportunity that's known only in the Lone Star State.
Bouknight is also endorsed by District 30 State Representative Jeannie Morrison. She's on her 13th term in the legislature. Morrison says Bouknight helped Victoria through Hurricane Harvey, during which time he was on the city council.
City councilman that stepped up to the plate was Jeff Bouknight, and we worked with the governor's office with him to make sure that we got what we needed.
Goliad County Sheriff Roy Boyd also showed his support for Bouknight. He says Bouknight has shown his willingness to fight to secure the border.
Jeff Bouknight is the only candidate for House District 30 that I know that I can count on.
Bouknight highlighted he would continue to fight for what he called South Texas conservative values. He says he would work with Governor Abbott to fund Operation Lone Star and support school choice.
Continue in Austin fighting against this silly, unbelievable woke agenda. I look forward to January when I get sworn in. Yeah. Being able to be beside this phenomenal, I've said it before, warrior for Texas.
Bouknight will face off against 3 opponents in the March 5th primary. Early voting begins February 20th, ending on March 1st. Reporting in Victoria, Adam Seibel, KAVU TV 25 News Now.
Also in the race for District 30 are Brett Baldwin, Vanessa Hicks Calloway, and A.J. Louderback. The March 5th primary is right around the corner. Early voting starts February 20th. Also in the upcoming March 5th election is the race for Victoria County Sheriff. Incumbent Sheriff Justin Marr is once again on the ballot for a second term. Marr says he plans to keep the promises made many years ago. Marr says he will continue to build trust between the sheriff's office and the community.
Promises made, promises kept. You know, I'm here for you. Victoria is my home. I've been with the sheriff's office for almost 26 years. This is my home. This community is my home, and I'm here to protect it.
Also running for the Victoria County Sheriff's position in the Republican primary is Melissa Rondon-Wasacek. Wasacek has 28 years experience in law enforcement. Early voting begins on February 20th and ends on March 1st. Election day is Tuesday, March 5th. The FBI has uncovered a plot by 3 men to travel to the Texas-Mexico border to kill Border Patrol agents and immigrants illegally crossing the border. You can read the Texas Tribune article on our website, crossroadstoday.com. The U.S. Senate advanced a stripped-down foreign aid bill in a procedural vote today. The bill calls for $95 billion in aid to Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. Today's vote comes one day after Republicans blocked the passage of a wider bill that also included border security measures. That bill was put forth following a long negotiation between Senate Republicans and Democrats and was supported by Customs and Border Protection Agency. Come to crossroadstoday.com to predict the big game. Answer a series of questions on how you think the game will go. 3 lucky players will win a $50 gift card to our friends at Dick's Food Store. The deadline to participate in the big game prediction is Saturday, February 10th at 5 p.m. We will announce the winners on sunrise Tuesday morning. The winners will receive either a call or an email. Good luck. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. Authorities in Pennsylvania provide an update on the fire and shooting that took place at a home. Also ahead, 3 CEOs of Big Pharma testify on Capitol Hill about the high costs of prescription drugs in the U.S. In Pennsylvania are investigating what happened at a home where 6 family members are missing after a fire and the shooting of 2 police officers. The Delaware County DA and other officials gathered outside a hospital today to provide an update about the investigation. They say they are still searching the burned homes for remains. Also, what happened inside the home before it caught fire may never be known.
We have found the torso of 1 individual and we've recovered 1 rifle at this point, but there is a lot more work to be done. Again, there are 6 members of the Lee family who are residing in that house who are unaccounted for at this point, and we fear were in the house and have been killed.
One of the officers injured in the incident, you see him there, was released this afternoon after suffering a gunshot wound to the leg. Another officer is still being treated. He was shot in the left arm and needed an extensive surgery to repair the damage. The third officer's release date is unknown at this time. The CEOs of 3 top pharmaceutical companies, including Johnson & Johnson, testified before a Senate committee today on prescription drug costs.
Pharmaceutical CEOs in the hot seat Thursday testifying before senators about high prescription drug costs in the U.S.
Even though the price of Keytruda is 1/4 of the price in Japan, does Merck make a profit selling Keytruda in Japan?
We do.
The heads of Johnson & Johnson, Merck, and Bristol-Myers Squibb getting grilled about why costs are so high, citing research and development while defending the billions paid in dividends to stockholders.
Our priority is investing in R&D. We have spent $77 billion since 2016, and yes, we have to pay dividends because it's the only way that the company can remain operational and sustainable.
The Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, chaired by Senator Bernie Sanders, hoping to lower costs for Americans.
As we pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, 10 of the top pharmaceutical companies in America made over $110 billion in profits in 2022. They are doing phenomenally well while Americans cannot afford the cost of the medicine they need.
The committee says Johnson & Johnson charges Americans with psoriatic arthritis $79,000 for Stelara, while the same product is about $16,000 in the UK. Similarly, saying Merck charges diabetes patients $6,900 for Januvia, when that same product can be purchased for $900 in Canada and $200 in France.
That, unfortunately, comes at a fairly significant cost for those patients outside of the U.S. In Canada, patients will wait roughly 3.5 to 4 years to get access to a medicine that is available in the U.S.
Some senators also criticizing Congress for failing to act when it comes to lowering costs for Americans. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
2 JetBlue planes touched today at Boston's Logan International Airport, forcing both flights to be canceled. Both planes were in the de-icing area at the time. The FAA released a statement saying JetBlue Flights 777's left winglet struck the right horizontal stabilizer of JetBlue Flight 551. The collision caused damage to both planes. A JetBlue statement says both planes returned to the terminal and passengers were booked on different flights today. Last week, Coast Guard officers at the Port of Houston found a dog inside a shipping container. The dog, named Connie, had been trapped in the container for over a week with no food or water. This week, Connie was sent to Virginia to find her forever home. After a visit to the vet there, Connie is expecting puppies. The vet will nurse Connie through her pregnancy and then will start heartworm treatments.
I expect to see a movie about Connie's life, and then can you imagine naming the puppies? Boy, that's going to be a big one. Well, good evening, folks. It's 64 degrees. It's February, right? Not exactly chilly out there. We managed to get up to 76 today, but of course that south wind kicked in 30 miles an hour, and so lots of moisture piling up on top of us. The rain is going to be here for the weekend, so we'll talk about that coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everybody. Going in with our above normal season, we're looking at about 64 as a low temperature, which is kind of where we are right about now. The cloud cover basically doesn't allow the temperature to drop much further. And tomorrow, with a strong southerly wind, we'll be in the mid-upper 70s. Can you believe that? Well, we continue. This is not, believe it or not, this is the atmospheric river. It's coming up from the Pacific. It is beginning to pick up enough moisture that radar is picking up a lot of this, although I'm not sure it's really hitting the ground. Sometimes we get a reading up in the atmosphere, but not on the surface. Nonetheless, we did have a few sprinkles around our area today, and things are getting a little bit on the damp side for us. You can see that tap going out into the Pacific. That's the moisture rolling up on top of us. But the atmosphere is too flat. That's why we haven't had any showers until this little thing right about here starts rolling out of the southern Rockies. When they two combine, that's when we get the rain activity, which will be over the weekend. Now, right about now on day 3, that's today, tomorrow, Saturday, we do have just a slight edge of possible rainfall that might be heavy, but all of it, or the majority of it, will be up here. So we're just on the outer reaches of that. So that to me doesn't tell me that we've got big rainfall totals to deal with. Now, here's Future Tracker, clouds and rain, sprinkles as we get into Friday, that's tomorrow. And then by the time we get to Saturday, then all of a sudden you start seeing the instability triggering off some shower activity there. And we go into your Saturday night, and then all of a sudden, there you see, we are on the tail end of it, but heavier stuff up toward Houston and more activity up there. That's Saturday, and then Saturday night, another bloom of thunder showers pops up here. That's because the low coming out of the Rockies is going to add to that. And so while most of the activity will be up north, we will get some showers. You're going to have to just deal with it. But yes, that is true. We may have some actual snow flurries, maybe covering the ground up in Amarillo over the weekend, especially Saturday night into Sunday. So once again, Future Tracker predicts about a ½ an inch of rain right about here in the county. Couple of spots with a little bit heavier. So there may be a couple of isolated showers, but by and large, the frontal system has gone stationary. So it's not moving. So we're not going to get any cooling just about yet. It'll just be the triggering mechanism for all that shower activity. And then until this one comes together, that's when everything gets a little interesting for Texas. But of course up here in Amarillo, I don't know, they might make a snowman. I don't, maybe. And then high pressure kicks in, and then we're doing real good for the middle part of next week. So we look at the forecast for tomorrow. Day planner in Port Lavaca. Cloudy all day long, southerly winds all day long, getting up to about 74, 75. Cloudy all day long in Cuero, southerly winds all day long, probably in the 25 to 30 mile an hour range in the afternoon, getting up to 76. So the 7 days, a little bit of sprinkles here, a better chance for rain on Saturday, and early on Sunday morning. Sunday night, it all clears up, and by the time we get to Monday, the high temperature is only 60 degrees. Now that sounds more like February. That is your 7-day forecast, and now I want to remind everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Now here's Zach with more signings.
Yes, sir. A star in Goliad has a new home. I'll have that coming up in sports. One of the hotter stories for high school sports of late, that being UIL realignment. And as we now know, Victoria West dealt somewhat of an unfair hand being placed in a district that requires extensive travel, but they have decided to appeal. And I was able to catch up with head coach Courtney Boyce on not just the importance of the East versus West games continuance, even though they are now in different districts, but also his thoughts on what he calls an unexpected district realignment.
That game has been exciting every year. You know, this will be the first time it's not a district ball game, but I still expect the same hype for the game. You know, we look forward to it. It's a great challenge, and I think it makes us better. This year's realignment was unexpected. Just first thing that jumped out at me was the amount of distance, you know, traveling for, you know, the teams, the fans, and things of that sort. So it was unexpected for sure. The Corpus schools, they are closer. I mean, it's been 30 plus years that Victoria and Corpus have been in the same football district. And, you know, so I guess it's what was a little bit unexpected. But again, you know, Victoria West football, we're here to get ready, go hard, go fast, and get after it.
We should know the result of the appeal around February 20th. In Cuero, the girls team has had quite a come up, winning a district title for the first time in over 5 years and undefeated. And they've known for a few games now that they were going to be the district champs, but the last game of the year, head coach Amy Crane's 200th victory.
It all happened on, you know, our last district game and the 200th win. So it was pretty special.
She didn't even know they were going to celebrate her. And side note, all 200 of those wins on the Cuero Gobblers sideline. She's been there 11 years. We had another commit, this time a Goliad Tiger going to play football, and that is Marcus Cisneros. He signed to play at Southwestern Assemblies of God University. He was a defensive back for the Goliad Tigers, a team that just won a district title after having not won a game just a few years prior. The program has grown a lot because of seniors like this, and he's excited to see his goals come to fruition and is thankful for the Tiger program.
Big dream ever since I started playing football when I was little, and just to sign right now, it means the absolute world to me. Like, I'm real grateful for my family, God, everyone that's blessed me with this opportunity to get to where I'm at right now. They've meant everything to me. They've been my home for the last, however long I've been going to school here in Goliad. It's just been a home, a family. I could always come here and call it home.
He also loved the campus and the community outreach over at SAGU. Congrats to Marcus Cisneros. And while the future is certainly bright for a lot of our area athletes, it's also very bright, in Houston. Houston sweeping Rookie of the Year award, C.J. Stroud winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, fresh off a historic rookie season, and Will Anderson is the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Many question if the Texans gave up too much for him when they moved up to number 3. Well, there's your answer. Also of note, D'Amico Ryans, in my opinion, robbed of Coach of the Year honors. He lost it by 1 vote. And while the future may be bright, one man already had a phenomenal career. That is Andre Johnson. He is officially a Hall of Fame inductee, the first in Houston Texans history. The 2003 first-round pick tallied over 14,000 yards, over 1,000 receptions with 70 touchdowns in his career. Today is 2/8/24, and no better day to honor the great Kobe Bryant than today, since he wore the jersey numbers 8 and 24, and they did it with a statue unveiling presented by Vanessa Bryant. She said Kobe picked the pose of the statue and called the stadium the house that Kobe built, and she revealed that this statue, just one of 3 that will be in front of Crypto Arena. That is it for your sports. Don, back to you.
And those other statues, by the way, are Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson. So that's pretty good company. 3 Hall of Famers right there. And speaking of Hall of Famers, yes, Andre Johnson's finally made the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He should have been there 3 years ago. Zach, thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. We'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, tomorrow, treat yourself to an extra slice of one of America's favorite foods. Japan have found a moat and stone walls believed to belong to a castle built almost 1,000 years ago. The ruins include a 30-meter long, 1-meter high stone wall and an 8-meter wide moat. It's called the Phantom Castle because the only traces of it found was in a lake and not above ground until now. City leaders plan to hold public information sessions on the find later this month. Friday is National Pizza Day, which is observed every year on February 9th. Why, don't ask me. But anyway, it's a chance to appreciate the history of the cheesy, melty dish so many people love. The nation's first pizzeria is believed to be Lombardi's in New York. Forget about it. Established in 1905, Antica Pizzeria Port Alba in Naples, Italy, is thought to be the world's first pizzeria, established in 1738. The nationaldaycalendar.com says the most popular type of pizza is pepperoni. Now, I was telling you guys about Detroit-style pizza. Here's why people like Detroit-style pizza. Number one, they put all the main ingredients, like whatever, pepperoni, right into the dough. Not into the cheese, right into the dough. And then the cheese they use is block cheese from Wisconsin.
Block?
Block. Not like mozzarella, block cheese. And people love the two differences, Detroit-style pizza.
Detroit-style pizza, have you tried it?
Little Caesars is as fancy as it gets for me, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, we're going to have to see if anybody's from Detroit that can confirm all that.
There you go.
And send us some, too. Anyway, here's your forecast for tomorrow. We'll be on the cloudy side. A few little sprinkles are possible with the cloudy and humid situation, but the rain really doesn't get going until Saturday night into Sunday morning. That's when the frontal system finally pushes through the area. Then next week, we're actually going to need a jacket as the high temperature on Monday is only 60 degrees.
All right, thank you, Mac. And finally tonight, passing the buck was not an option for two Indiana deputies who responded to this emergency call. The rescue of the deer trapped in a rope fence caught on body cam. Two deputies went to the scene and tried to help the trapped animal, but one of them was knocked down by the buck before the other deputy was able to cut the deer free. Thankfully, the deputies were not harmed during the encounter. The unstuck buck also escaped unharmed. And because the deer was alone, he was coming in stag.
Yeah, and he didn't have any dough.
And you have any dough. There we go. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, and thanks for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. Join Carolina Astorina and meteorologist Parker Cox for 25 News Now Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.